Okay. Just a second. Like, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'd skip ahead a few seconds. Just link it around. Okay. Let's see. Links, link page. Boop-a-doop-doo. Sorry if there is actually anyone watching this at the moment. It's going to be kind of boring for a bit. But I'm going to test this out, so... Okay, I think that's enough stalling. So, hello everybody that is actually either watching this now or later on YouTube. I really don't care. I wanted to revive something I was doing on Blip, and Blip's given me the boot. Well, they've given me the letter. They've given me the Dear John letter. So, you know. And I thought, well, fuck it. Let's use it as a way to reinvent the fucking thing. So, and by the way, if you want to ask questions or something, I've got like a Q&A thing up, so, you know. So yeah, Armageddon-palooza. Pretty crap name, but oh well. It's better than nothing. But yeah, the Ring of Fire, talking about wrestling. Wanted to talk about some Armageddon pay-per-views. So, gonna start. I'm only going with the ones I've got on DVD because really they're the only ones I probably remember enough about. I mean, at least I've got the DVDs here. So, even though there's probably absolutely no one watching this, I don't care. You might watch it later on YouTube. Let's start with Armageddon 2002, which... like God. That sounds a bit weird. I actually like this pay-per-view. Kind of? Maybe? Like, it's one of those things where you like it at first, but then the more you watch it, it's like, this really isn't as good as I thought it was. Like, fucking... Let's see, the show opened with a 4-way elimination World Tag Title match, which is probably one of the better matches on the card, I must say. Like, what I find so fun, like, of course, there's a botch, like, really early on. Oh, Christ. Like, you know, we always give wrestlers shit when they botch or make fun of it, but until you actually do it, it's like, yeah, I can see how they could botch very easily. But it's like Regal is trying to get like a schoolboy roll up on Bubba Ray Dudley and fucks it up. Oh, Christ. And it was when Booker T and Goldust finally got the fucking tag belts, so that was interesting and nice. I mean, I think I only own like 3 pay-per-view matches they ever had as a team. I'm not sure how many more they had, but and both of those were losses, I think, in tag title matches. So now let's see highlights. I'm pretty sure Jericho got busted in that, didn't he? I think he did. Sorry if this is very boring, but it's not like I can show footage. Let's see. Fucking, you know what? Actually, I really applaud them for that because, in a way, they put Booker T over really bizarrely well, and that they had him kick out of not only getting hit in the head with a belt, but they had him kick out of fucking a Lionsault, which was actually a viable finisher for Jericho back then. So that's what? It's amazing that he could fucking Big Show could actually have a good main event back then. Granted, it was with Kurt Angle, not Randy Orton, so maybe that's why. I mean, you know, Big Show's never been the best wrestler ever, but I like the guy. Kane versus Batista. Christ. You know what? I'd prefer this Batista over any other Batista we've had. I mean, you know, In It for the Money Batista was alright, but like, him is just like a pure monster who didn't talk much. That is the Batista that was actually, ironically, the most interesting. Or at least that worked the best. I mean, I guess you can't really, like, after you start to give him a personality, you can't go back to that, so fair enough. But, you know, I'm actually going in sort of, I know I'm going in the wrong order, but really I don't care. I mean, this is a fucking pay-per-view from 2002. Does it really matter what order I go in? I can't even remember the match order, I don't think. But yeah, like, and there was a fucking botched Batista bomb. Thank God Kane actually managed. It was either that or Kane sandbagged it. I have no idea what was going on there. They try to, the commentators try to pass it off as him sandbagging, but it wasn't. It had to be a botch. He didn't get him upright, so he just gently placed him down instead of doing what Brock Lesnar did to Hardcore Holly and breaking his neck. Anyway, like, it was an alright match. Fucking. Ironically, the best part of the match is probably when Ric Flair like unloads on Kane, and Kane just no-sells it. And Flair just starts fucking overreacting and just overselling the entire situation. Oh, Christ. I wish they'd do that with Kane these days, but oh well. I guess they figure he's older, so somehow that means he has to sell more. I don't know. Tori Wilson versus Dawn Marie. They advertised that on the DVD, but that didn't happen. At all. They had a segment, and hell, Tori Wilson wasn't even there. It was just her playing, it was just Dawn Marie playing a fucking clip of her forcing Tori to make out with her or something. And of course, before it gets too steamy, they obviously cut away, because even though they weren't PG back then, hey, this isn't porn, you know. I mean, tell that to Val Venus, but, you know. Christ. And hell, I say that, and we see fucking Booker T's ass in one pay-per-view. Benoit versus Eddie Guerrero. God, from what I remember though about that. Oh, that's right. Fucking Benoit, Christ. He takes a really awkward botched bump. Like, he's... at least I'm pretty sure it was Benoit. He's getting thrown out of the fucking ring, but he botches it, so he actually ends up like contorting his back over the top rope and then falling out. It's like, oh, that would have fucking hurt. It was a pretty good match from what I remember. But, you know, Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. No matter what Benoit did in life, that doesn't take away from the fact that he was a good wrestler. Oh, fucking, but yeah, that match. And fucking, like, another example of how WWE didn't always throw every title onto pay-per-views. Eddie Guerrero was a tag champion at this point, and he won the titles with Chavo at Survivor Series. But they're not defending them on this pay-per-view. Why? I mean, I guess at least it was a storyline match, so it wasn't just Benoit being randomly thrown into a match with Eddie. But, like, come on, guys, really? Honestly, you could have gotten rid of Kane Batista and had a tag title match. Even if it was like Benoit and someone else against the Los Guerreros. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Eddie Guerrero won. Again, I'm probably wrong, and that's kind of sad that I wouldn't even remember the fucking outcome of that match. And you know what? I'm even going to cheat. I'm obviously not going to watch the fucking DVD. That would take too long. But I seriously can never, honestly, I always forget the outcome of this match, which is really, really weird. So let's see. Let's make this as boring as possible. Okay, yeah, Benoit won. Sorry. Woo. Then again, he does get he got a title shot at Royal Rumble 2003, so go figure. Christ. Wow, I don't remember that match even going 16 minutes. Apparently it did. Amazing. Christ. And you know what? Edge versus A-Train. Now that was actually kind of interesting. Aside from the fact that we almost saw A-Train's junk when Edge tried to pin him once. That's scarring. I mean, like, I swing both ways, but that was... No. No surprise, the main event was the longest match on the card. Victoria, Trish, Jacqueline. God. You know, that has some decent spots, but that was one of those Divas matches that was really forgettable. I really like Victoria, and I don't really mind Trish because she actually had good women to work with, and Jacqueline was pretty interesting, but that match was fucking terrible. Even the finish didn't really make sense either, so it's like, what the fuck are you even doing? Like, what the hell happened? Were they all having an off day? Because they're not shit. I wouldn't really call any of those three women shit. So, it's really sad that that match ended up being so shit. Oh, the Heat match was Jeff Hardy versus D'Lo Brown. Why the fuck didn't they put that on the DVD? The cunts. Like, seriously, they put like a match from... Yeah, they put like a match from SmackDown that helps set up this match, which we didn't really need anyway, on the match. But then you put the Heat match on there. That's stupid. Kurt Angle vs. Big Show. You know, I like Big Show, I really do. And honestly, I wish he'd go back to wearing pants when he wrestled. But I guess tights that actually go further down than Andre the Giant's did, you know, that's an improvement. Now, you know, I find it surprising when commentators are surprised that anyone can lift the Big Show. I mean, like, if it's a cruiserweight at this point, it would have to be a shock. But aside from that, pretty much everyone can lift the Big Show, guys. Triple H has fucking given him a spine buster, I'm pretty sure, at this point. Plus, Big Show does most of the work by actually jumping up in the air, so... But of course, that's not kayfabe, so... wow, that match was 12 minutes. That doesn't really feel 12 minutes. Actually feels much shorter than that. But I guess pretty much everything had to be short. Or at least... There are only 2 matches that go over 15 minutes aside from the main event. Which is better than Payback had. But at least it was given to the right matches. I'll give them that much. Yeah, Kurt Angle Big Show must be really forgettable, honestly. Because I can't really remember much about that. If you do, or you have any questions, whatever. But, yeah, God. Like, Heyman, that's right. Heyman gets fucking squashed by Angle. And I'm not even sure if that was planned or not. Because that doesn't really look planned. The way, like, just the way Angle lands on Heyman makes it look like it was not planned and in the slightest. But it's funny, but it's like, ooh, that probably hurt. And Heyman's down for like most of the fucking match. And then A-Train comes out of nowhere and helps Big Show, sorry. Which sets up to him becoming a Heyman guy later on. And they'd been setting up this thing where Brock Lesnar was going to come out. And Big Show gets shafted because Lesnar does the F5 on Big Show. Angle pins him, has an orgasm. Because has anyone else noticed that? Most of his title wins, he looks like he's having an orgasm after the 3 counts. Like, I don't think I noticed that when I was younger, but it's just so... Sorry about that. It's just so fucking hilarious. Like, you don't even know, people. And, you know what, I haven't really got much to say about that one, because really, it is a forgettable pay-per-view. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where the older you get, the worse it kind of gets in your mind. So, luckily, that's not the only one I'm covering. Or it might be unluckily for everyone else. Haha. Moving on, we have Armageddon 2003, which was apparently done in Orlando, Florida. Not that that really matters. Now, Christ. You know, I really love the intro to this pay-per-view. At least I think it was the intro where they did the whole... I think they were supposed to be all Bible quotes. Probably modified slightly. But yeah, it was really interesting. I think the first time I saw it was like they used it as an ad on the Royal Rumble 2004 DVD. And it was fucking great. Granted, the Royal Rumble 04 opening is my favorite pay-per-view opening ever. Like, no lie. Christ. Jumping a year ahead, we actually do get the Heat match, and it's a heel Rico against Jobber Heidenreich. Now, that's a match I never thought would happen. But apparently it did, and Rico won. Then again, I said Jobber Heidenreich. Mark Henry. Back when him and Christ. This is bringing up a lot of sad memories. Uh, Mark Henry when he was a thing, or at least, Mark Henry when he was still a destructive monster in his second run, maybe, or like first, but like he came back and started the whole world's strongest man shtick. And he loses to Booker T, but they put him over pretty well. I mean, it takes 2 scissors kicks to keep him down. So that was some good big man booking. And generally, like, I'm pretty sure he like fucks up with like a power bomb by like just flat out dropping him after picking him up. So everyone's like, wah, wah. And I think they even just play it off as, oh no, it's just because he's inexperienced. Okay. How new was he? Christ. He'd been around since the Attitude Era. How could that be inexperience? I mean, sure, that was only a few years before that, but you know what I mean. I mean, I guess against Booker T, he'd seem like a rookie, but it's almost like they forgot his entire original run didn't happen. Granted, from what I've seen of it, it's probably a good idea. And Teddy Long, back when he was a manager, can they make him a manager again, please? Please? Like, it's getting really fucking annoying at this point that he's apparently still employed by WWE, but he's not doing anything. What the fuck are you doing with him, people? To me, it makes absolutely no goddamn sense. Like, if you're gonna have him around, for the love of God, don't waste him like that. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me at all. Why would you waste someone? You could use it. There are plenty of people that need managers at this point. So, like, you really need to get on that, WWE. Like, you don't have to necessarily have him do the whole racism shtick, although the way they're using Rusev right now, that could actually really work. Okay. Yeah. This is like, you can see why I've wanted someone to be on here, but the person I was trying to get on here, Hangouts didn't want to actually let him get on, so, or at least they didn't send the invite through, so, oh well. Huh. Whoops, wrong DVD. Oh wow, that's embarrassing. At least it would be if there was anyone watching. Now let's see, Battle of the Sexes tag. Interesting idea, and I guess they didn't make the women look like complete shit. And at least it was against Jericho and Christian, so it would have been believable if Lita and Trish had beat them. And I'm not saying that women can't beat men or any shit like that, because that's bullshit. I grew up in a house with 3 older sisters. I know that women can beat up men. Okay? Granted, when you're very skinny and small, like Trish and Lita are, you can see why if they were put up like against someone like Kane, which Trish was in 2004, I think. You can see how that would work out. But, Trish and Lita against Jericho and Christian, it worked. The men win with a roll-up, though. So, okay. I guess Christian just weighs that much more than Trish that he doesn't really need to hold it down all that hard. Though it does seem weird that he wouldn't just win with like a fucking unprettier, but okay. That whole feud was actually kind of interesting in the way it played out by ending up with like Trish turning heel and joining up with Christian. But, like, I don't think anyone saw that coming. So, at least it led to something that wasn't that actually made sense. Okay. Randy Orton RVD with Foley as the guest referee. That was interesting, and it bugs me that the commentators didn't play up that Flair and Foley have a history. But and I honestly wonder where this match would have fallen in the card. This was actually the second match. This was before before the Battle of the Sexes tag. But honestly, it was probably one of the better matches of the night. Orton gets his first IC title reign. That lasted God, what was it, 7 months? Lord. I don't think... Oh, wait, yeah, I think Benjamin beat that. But if not, then no one's beaten that since. Or if they have, it's out of pure nepotism. I don't think anyone's beaten it since. If they have, correct me. But I don't think anyone has. So, there's that. I'm pretty sure Randy Orton either did oh no, wait. They show him in a video package doing a super RKO. He did an RKO that spiked the fuck out of RVD. And the interesting thing was that this was Evolution heel young Randy Orton. So Randy Orton, the only time he was fucking interesting. And I get they can't have him do the cocky young heel now, but he was better when he was just a complete asshole. So that's just me. Yeah, he spikes him with an RKO and wins clean. Mega heel, probably not mega heel. Heel Randy Orton beats RVD for a title clean. Then again, they did that with Bad News Barrett. And, God, I can't believe I called him that. Wade Barrett at Payback, so, but that was retaining, really. Then again, I think he won it clean, too. Christ. To me, I see some people make the argument that, oh no, heels should win titles clean, or retain titles clean. Fuck you, they're heels. They should be winning in some sort of dirty way. It doesn't always have to be run-ins. That'd of course, be too repetitive. But, come on, they gotta win dirty somehow. Otherwise, the forced rematches when a heel wins clean don't make sense. So, moving on. The second year in a row that Batista was on it last time facing Kane. This time, still with Flair in his corner, he faces Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels gets completely annihilated, I'm pretty sure, but he still wins. But, I don't care, because I actually like Shawn Michaels. And hell, watching this back, if Shawn Michaels had lost, I would have been pretty fucking pissed off. And in a way, it is kind of unexpected, but it works in that Shawn Michaels has a strike finisher. And on big guys like that, the weak point is usually always made out to be the head. So since it's sweet chin music, so it's a super kick, so smack. It works that he would beat him. If anything, I just love the reaction afterwards, where there's supposed to be a Maven Matt Hardy match, but Batista is so fucking pissed off about this loss that when Matt Hardy and Maven are just like, man, fuck it, let's fight out here. Matt Hardy throws Maven into the ring, so Batista just like hits him with the Batista bomb like 2 or 3 times, I think, and then Matt Hardy like splashes him, like waits until Batista's left, then um, then splashes him and counts his own pinfall and tries to get Lillian to announce him as the winner. Which really he should have been announced the winner anyway by forfeit. So, like I love Matt Hardy was like, yeah, I'm gonna get him now while he's down, but they're just like, nope, match ain't happening. But which is kind of sad because I would honestly like to see what they could have done. I'm not sure if Matt Hardy and Maven ever actually had any matches. None that I saw. So yeah, it bugs me in that way, but oh well. Next up there was a tag team turmoil match. So we go from a fatal 4-way elimination tag match for the tag belts to a tag team turmoil match. And that had Hurricane and Rosie, the Dudleys, Jindrak and Cade, Val Venus and This entire list are no longer in WWE anymore, and at least one of them is dead. Isn't that? God, that's sad. Oh, my lord. Yeah, it really is sad. I'm pretty sure Garrison Cade is dead, is he? I think he is. That sucks. So let's see. I'm pretty sure it was Hurricane and Rosie that started off, and it really pisses me off that they didn't last longer than they did. They got eliminated really quick. I'm pretty sure they eliminated La Resistance, and they got cheaply eliminated by Cade and Jindrak. So that was like, really? Like, I get that the Dudleys were coming out later, but you could have at least had them lose to Steiner and Test. At least then they could have like eliminated Rosie from the situation and just dominated the crap out of the Hurricane. That would have worked. You didn't have to fucking eliminate Hurricane and Rosie that quick. Like, Christ, people. What the fuck? Anyway, the Dudleys win, and then Bischoff is like, not letting. Let's see, how many was that? Like 3? I think 3 in now, technically, if you count that win. People that were on team. Oh, no, wait, no. It was 2 apiece. Because there was Booker and Shawn were both on Team Austin. And Randy, Jericho, and Christian were all on Team Bischoff. So, yeah, it was like 2-all as far as Team Bischoff went from Survivor Series. Because that's basically what this was. The hangover from Survivor Series. Where they had a bunch of the guys from both, from the Raw Survivor Series traditional 5-on-5 facing off in singles matches for the most part. Or in Chris Jericho Christian's case, I guess I shouldn't count that because they were fighting Lita and Trish, but they won their match, so there's that. But yeah, Evolution comes out with just Flair and Batista to fight essentially really badly beaten up Bubba and Devon, and they win the titles, and then they hold them until after fucking WrestleMania, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, wait, sorry, they dropped them before, and then Booker T and RVD held them until slightly after. And then lost them on the draft, and then they both got drafted to SmackDown, and blah 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 blah. And this whole thing was just like this, let's get the gold on all of Evolution, which, honestly, it worked then, but I honestly think that they're not going to do that again with a proper 4-man stable. I could be wrong. But, and again, I said 4-man stable, because technically they put the US title and tag titles on the Shield at one point, and we all know how that worked out. Very poorly for the titles involved. At least now the US title's actually fucking getting defended. Molly Holly versus Ivory. Now that was a thrown-on match, I think, from what I can tell, for like pure filler. Because, of course, if you need filler, women's match. And you know what? Ivory, I think, was actually really underrated. Because watching this, like, I'd only really known her before I saw this match as, like, a host on The Experience. And occasionally I think she was a commentator on Heat. But that was about it. That's all I knew her from. I did know her from Chudera days as a part of Right to Censor, or even before that, when she had her, I think it was one and only women's title reign. And, you know, she goes up against Molly Holly, and they're both really competent, and they were like, you know what? They're giving us, apparently, almost 4.5 minutes to work. We're going to make this watchable. I mean, I'm pretty sure the crowd tunes out anyway. Because, like, honestly, it would have been interesting if they played up Ivory almost win more. Because, like, every other title changed hands that night, except the women's title. So it was like, it could have played that up a bit more. It would have, like, because, I don't really think they did, because there had been 2 title changes before this, so they could have gone, will Ivory keep that streak going? She didn't, but this is honestly one of the better women's pay-per-view matches that I've seen ever. I mean, like, I'm not putting that over as like, oh my god, this is fucking amazing. But for a women's pay-per-view match, considering what we usually get these days, this was worth watching. I mean, you might disagree with me, but that's just what I think. And then we had the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title. Like, that is honest to God the main thing I remember from the bits from the ad that I saw for this pay-per-view. Just Bischoff being like, it's going to be a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title. Just a specific way they edit it to make him sound like he's saying, or the way he said it, just you can't get that out of your head. That'll stick in your subconscious. And really, this match proves 2 things. That Triple H and Kane can both be funny when put together. Unfortunately, they're not doing that now. But at the same time, that you really shouldn't put 3 heavyweights in a match. In a triple threat match, anyway. Excuse me. Because this match is terrible. Honestly. And like, I can watch it. I can sit through it. But at some point, I'd probably just crack open my dad's laptop, or if I was watching it out in the lounge room, I might just hop on the computer and dick around on there or something. I don't know. But I would easily tune out. Like, I posted a bunch of images of one of the funniest bits, though, on Tumblr. And that is the bit where I'm pretty sure Triple H has just smacked Goldberg with a chair, or has just picked one up and smashed it into the ring post anyways, holding it up, turns around, walks into Kane, and Kane's just like, what are you going to do with that? And Triple H is like, oh, fuck, since Kane was actually a legitimate threat back then. And then tries hiding the chair behind his back when he'd been holding it up. And Kane's just like, are you fucking kidding me? It's fucking hilarious. Like Kane really can be funny, whether he is a monster or not. He can have legitimately funny moments, and so can Triple H. They just need to not be trying so fucking hard. Like they weren't trying to make that a comedy spot, but it actually ended up being really funny. But yeah, like 3 heavyweights in a triple threat match, it can work, but you actually have to let them beat the fuck out of each other. And yeah, to a degree they do, but they're really slow. Kane is faster than that. He can keep up with Rey Mysterio. Like, yeah, he's not as fast as Rey Mysterio once was, or RVD ever was, or fucking Jericho ever was. But he can keep up with them. Goldberg, skinny as he is, he must have shit cardio or something, because I swear him... And Triple H must have as well, even though I'm pretty sure Triple H wasn't in all that bad a shape back then. And Kane was in, like, the best shape of his career back then. So it's like, what? How is this match so either forgettable or just boring the more you watch it? Like, granted, it was almost 20 minutes, and apparently going, but this, wow, it was not the longest match. The longest match was the Tag Team Turmoil. Though, honestly, that makes sense. I'm almost wondering if they can, counting the bit where it looked like it was going to end, but then it didn't. As like that whole bit as part of the fucking thing. But that said, oh god, that match just... That should have been so much better than they hyped it up to be. I mean, it was on the fucking Armageddon pay-per-view, and it's the only thing they hype in the intro. So it's like... I don't think I ever really thought it was mind-blowing. Though, the ending was kind of interesting, where Evolution tries screwing over the other heel by Kane chokeslamming Goldberg, and then Triple H getting the pin. But honestly, people hate on Triple H, but heel Triple H is the best Triple H. Especially when he was in the title hunt, because he loved that, in kayfabe, of course, loved that belt more than air. And I love heels that do that. I mean, and the funny thing is you can only achieve that with heels. You can say that a face is like, oh, I really love having this belt, but heels are the only ones that can really pull that off and make it work, because they will do absolutely anything to fucking keep that thing. Maybe tweeners could, like Austin, or now Sheamus, or Randy Orton when he was sort of tweener, but yeah, and Edge pulled it off great as a heel as well. Where, yeah, it's just like they care about that title and keeping that title so much. They'll do fucking anything. They'll break any rule, or in this case, take any advantage that the fact that there is no rules to retain the belt or win the belt. And it's like, yes, more of those, please. Because Triple H is like the fucking master of that. Like, I didn't bring it up because I don't think I talked about it, but just since I didn't, I'll bring it up again. Armageddon 2002 main event, because I'm pretty sure I probably skipped like a shit ton. Well, not a shit ton, but at Armageddon 2002, the 3 stages of hell. Let's face it, that's what it was. That Triple H over Shawn Michaels, when he won that, he fucking hugged that belt. He fucking hugged it. He embraced that thing. Like, he pulls it down, and usually when a wrestler pulls a title down during a ladder match, they just fall off. I think it's usually just because they always lose their footing or something, but, But he fucking just hugs that thing. Just clenches it to his chest like it's a fucking... Like it's the Holy Grail or something. And I guess it technically wasn't wasn't in the WWE at that point. But yeah, it's like, well, no, it wasn't yet. Yet. The WWE title was still the major title. They just had that as the main event because it was the gimmick match. But yeah, we need more heels like that, guys. Seriously. Okay. Armageddon. Speaking of those kinds of heels, Armageddon 04. My God. The shit, and this was the first SmackDown exclusive. So we went from Raw and SmackDown to Raw only to SmackDown only, because I guess SmackDown needed the end of the year exclusive pay-per-view. In a way, I'm kind of glad they don't, like, well, you know, the brain extension is finally non-existent, so they can't do that anymore. Now let's see. Are there even any matches worth talking about on this? Well, actually, yeah. Cruiserweight title match, Spike Dudley versus Funaki. I remember the first time I watched this pay-per-view, I'm pretty sure I watched it live. I might be wrong, but I think I did. Or I watched it like after the fact, but still paid for. Because, you know, even if I tried to, streams weren't a thing. Or just generally when I got the DVD. I don't know. And I actually marked out for Funaki winning. I liked Spike Dudley, and he actually worked really well as a heel when they actually let him be a proper character as a heel. But yeah, I was like, it really pisses me off that Funaki lost the title the way he did, but oh well. I guess Chavo wasn't a bad cruiserweight champion. At the same time, he was a champion like fucking Triple H was for the main event, but for the cruiserweight division. Now let's see, John Cena versus Jesus for the US title. Now, Jesus Aguilera. Wow, I can't believe I actually remember that guy's last name. Yikes. And this is when, God, this is when Carlito was new. Whew. That brings back memories. Now, you know what? People always shit all over the spinner belt that Cena had. And yeah, I didn't like it either. But the US title spinner belt, that I loved. That thing was interesting. The WWE title one, it was alright at first, but then it overstayed its welcome. But the US title one, if you haven't seen it, Google it. It's actually pretty cool. That was a fucking terrible match. And it was basically a squash. It was a fucking title squash. Like, it was like Jesus was standing in for Carlito, from what I can remember, because Carlito was either legitimately injured or was like just injured because of a storyline they had going. I honestly forget. But for whatever reason, Jesus had to stand in and defend the title for Carlito. And he got his fucking ass handed to him. Like, Christ. I'm pretty sure, like, people say that Cena buries people now. No, he doesn't. You don't have to lose to someone to put them over. Okay? That's not how that works, and that's not how burying works. As far as I'm concerned, Cena AAing Bray through that setup box, whatever the fuck it was, and then dumping another one on top of him, that's not burying someone. It might be literally burying someone, but to me, that just put fucking Bray over as a more formidable opponent, that he had to literally bury him like that so he wouldn't get up. It's the only believable way I can excuse Cena winning that match. But anyway, oh my God, Kenzo Suzuki, and you know what? Kenzo Suzuki and Rene Dupree, they had a good tag theme. Again, go look for it. I mean, it's pretty much just Dupree's theme with the stereotypical Asian flute of some sort, which actually sounds pretty cool. But yeah, it's basically that put over Rene Dupree's theme. I do like the custom flag they had though, where it was like the French flag, but the white center bit had the red dot of the red circle of the Japanese flag. So that was interesting. And I think they even had another one where it was like a two-sided flag. So one side it was the Japanese flag, the other side it was the French flag. Even though I'm pretty sure Rene Dupree is actually French-Canadian. Could be wrong, but again, I know I'm pretty sure he wasn't legitimately French. Let's see here. WWE Tag Title match. Yeah, that was them and Armageddon and Rey Mysterio. How did that take so long to be a tag team back then, eh? Like, my God. Booker T and RVD I really liked as a team, but that's a team that it's like, wow, why wasn't that done before? And they actually made tag moves. It was like, oh my God. It could have been the new Sabu RVD, really. Just less botches. Like, oh my God. And they did like fucking RVD would pick him up like he's going for a back body drop. And then just fucking, a back suplex, I mean, not back body drop. Back suplex. And then they just both go down for like a four-legged leg drop. A quadruple leg drop. I forget what they called that, but that was pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure they did like a 619 frog splash combo. I forget who the champions were going into this match, I must say. But either way, RVD and Mysterio won, so that's that. And Mysterio had this weird thing going on at that period of time, I think, where he had face paint, sort of, and that was why? It might have been the next year, but that always confused me. I have no idea why he did that. 3-on-1 handicap match. Big Show versus Team Angle 2.0. Luther Reigns, Jindrak, and Angle. There's nothing to really say about that match. Big Show beats them. Not all that surprising, really. Though I guess it was at least kind of a fair fight. In the sense that Big Show is like fucking massive. But at the same time, they're not throwing like 3 stick-thin guys at him like they occasionally would do. And what they did once with Big Daddy V / Viscera. And Big Show won with an F5. And I'm not sure why. From what I can remember, it was a decent F5, but at the same time, fucking hell, an F5 from the Big Show? Anything someone the Big Show's size does to you could be believably thought of as a finisher, I've always thought. If he fucking hits someone with a leg drop, I could see him getting a 3 count off that. But an F5, he could probably get like a fucking 10 count. Like he could honestly win a fucking last man standing match, I think, with an F5. Just pure, like, with how tall he is, that's basically what helps it. Like, his choke slam was a world-ending thing enough, but him doing an F5, like, holy fuck. Pretty sure he pinned Jindrak, but I could be wrong. It would make the most sense, though, considering Jindrak was like the cocky asshole. Yeah, he was the Randy Orton of that team, just a lot more muscular. And a lot more agile. Whoa! Wow, the tag title match apparently went for 17 minutes. Didn't feel like it. Oh my god. Kurt Angle did his. Okay. Now, this was a thing, for those of you who don't know. In 2004, and I'm pretty sure possibly in 2005, Kurt Angle. Oh, no, sorry, it would have been 2006. He did it like an open invitational sort of thing to the local guy. I think it was supposed to be like. I'm not sure if that one was for his gold medal. One he did later that he lost to Eugene was for the gold medal. But he ended up facing someone who came out dressed up as Santa. I don't know who it was. I've never bothered to check. But you had to bet that it was someone that they had backstage. Or I guess it could have been like a random indie guy. Huh. The Dixie dog fight. My god, what a waste of fucking time that was. Tough Enough in 2004. Daniel Puder versus Mike Mizanin. Not The Miz, Mike Mizanin. Honestly, I can see why they just call him The Miz. Mike Mizanin is just... It sounds too fake to be real, right? Daniel Puder won that, and then he won Tough Enough, and then he was never heard from again. And with good reason. And The Miz, ironically, the runner-up is the one who stuck around so long. He's probably like the longest-lasting Tough Enough contestant, really, aside from Josh Matthews, who, wrestling-wise, no, but still technically employed by the WWE, yes. Now, let's see. Bashams defeated Hardcore Holly and Charlie Haas. Nothing to say there, really. The Basham brothers were doing their Secretaries of Defense thing with JBL. Honestly, that was the only thing that made them slightly interesting. Guess it was better than their fucking... the thing they did the year prior, where they were basically sexual masochists. And that was just bizarre, if anything. Christ almighty. Dawn Marie vs. Miss Jackie. The only thing worth noting about that match... My god, that fucking... Dawn Marie and Miss Jackie are two women that you should not have let wrestle. I mean, the match was apparently under 2 minutes, but... Christ. Just terrible. The only thing worth mentioning is that Charlie Haas basically says, fuck both of you, I'm out. At the end, when it's supposed to be that he goes with the winner, I think. And he just admits to Jackie to having slept around with Dawn, and then just goes, I don't want either of you sluts, so fuck you. So that match was completely pointless. And then we have... Let's see, what haven't I fucking talked about yet? Fucking... Okay, the Fatal 4-Way match, which I totally called, by the way, back when it happened. I was watching... A cousin was over, and I was watching SmackDown. And I would like to point out that I'm pretty sure that at this point I was still a mark, in the sense that I hadn't clued in yet that wrestling was fake. Well, actually no, I hate calling it fake. It's not fake, it's staged. There is a difference, people. But, so yeah, I hadn't clued in on that yet, and even then, I still predicted this main event was going to happen. They, like, one by one, Eddie Guerrero, Booker T, and The Undertaker came out to bitch at JBL, and I was like, okay, that's going to be a triple threat. Like, okay, it's going to be him versus him. And then someone else came out, and I was like, okay, it's going to be a triple threat. Then Undertaker came out, fatal four-way. What happens? We get a fatal four-way. And this was, funnily enough, actually, like, I think the only weapon that actually got used in this was like a fucking ladder or something, and that was introduced by Eddie Guerrero, I think. And I'm not even sure if he used it successfully. But, of course, the guy who wins is JBL because he had his whole 10-month reign thing going. Which, honestly, I really like JBL's run. Because, again, I really like heels that just absolutely fucking love the belt to the point they will do anything to keep it. We need more of those fucking characters, okay? Like, seriously. And the only reason he really won is because Heidenreich came out and fucking grabbed Undertaker. You know, I didn't really hate Heidenreich, but Christ, that feud was so boring. I mean, they killed it off at They killed it off at the Royal Rumble. They wouldn't even let it survive until... Oh, then again, I think they'd had like a Survivor Series and No Mercy matches or something, so... Fair enough, but it ended at the Royal Rumble in a stretcher match no one remembers. And I remember it, but I've never seen it. So, what does that tell you? Holy crap. But, I must admit I really liked Taker's look back then, where it was kind of a hybrid of American Badass Taker and Undead Taker. But yeah, from what I remember, that was actually a watchable match. It was definitely better than the Triple Threat the year before, but let's fuck off that pay-per-view and go to the one that, honestly, does this look like the guy from Disturbed and not Batista? Because to me, it looks like the guy from Disturbed, not Batista. I mean, you know, he's missing the really fucking huge, obnoxious piercings, but, you know, like, that's friggin' stupid. Why would you do that as the fucking Armageddon poster? Or at least the DVD cover, they probably had a half-decent poster. But... No, and that's right, Batista was the world champion at this point, but what happens? Oh no, he is not allowed to have the... Oh no, wait, sorry, he was the WWE Tag and World Heavyweight Champ. So of course, what do? They stick him in a champion versus champions match against Kane and Big Show, teaming with Mysterio, because tag champs versus tag champs, non-title. Because yeah, that's what this pay-per-view fucking needed. It needed a fucking... It needed a fucking World Tag Title a non-title tag match. Yeah, that's a fucking good idea, isn't it? The match isn't, like, completely terrible from what I remember, but it's like, come on, guys, really? I'm not a huge Batista fan, never really was, but did you have to put him in a match that he lost? I mean, yeah, he's not the one that gets pinned. He like spears Big Show over one of the announce tables. But come on, guys, really? Though, yeah, like an injured Mysterio takes the fall, getting choke slammed to hell by Kane. And I guess I just wanted to push Big Show and Kane as a formidable tag team, but considering how their tag title reign ended, yeah. Let's see. Match 4 of Best of 7. Benoit versus Booker. The one that Benoit actually won. Or at least the first one. And Charmel come out with a broom. And he was like, because it was a clean sweep joke. Of course. Oh, God. Like, again, apologies. It's probably been more entertaining if I had someone to work off of. But, yeah. Good match. Really not surprising, but yeah. Better than the No Way Out match from, like, the next year. And honestly, that's all I gotta say about that. Mexicals versus Eminem. Now, I actually remember that in a backstage segment, the Mexicals try to say that try to get Melina to like Super Crazy and Psychosis try to blackmail Melina by saying that they won't wrestle if she gives them the treatment that she gave Batista, where she basically fucked him to make him not be in a match, and he just fucked her and then did the match anyway. So it was like, oh, and then they try the same thing, and of course it doesn't work, but it's at least funny. From what I remember, it was a very good tag match. I honestly wish the Mexicals had won, especially since I'm pretty sure Eminem really didn't need that momentum. And it would have honestly would have been a bit surprising if the Mexicals had won. And by the way, people, the Mexicals wasn't racist, or at least wasn't a racist gimmick at first. It was racist when they turned face. But when they were heel, the gimmick started as they're trying to throw the stereotype that Mexicans have in America as the janitors and the groundskeepers and all that fucking shit about how they got every meal job that no one wants. That started as a joke. It was supposed to be them throwing it back in America's face. The gringos' face. Like, and it was great. It was great. But then they got over, so they got turned face. And the whole thing became racist. So it was like, okay, it was funny and witty before, but now it is just racist. And the fact that Super Crazy still had that music after everyone else got fired or left was just like, really? Why? Though eventually they had him go to, like, I'm pretty sure it was either flat out his original ECW music, or it was like a cover of his ECW music. So there was that. Juventud versus Kid Cash. That was good. If you haven't seen that, go see it. like, Hoovy pretty much pulls out fucking everything to keep that title, but Kid Cash manages to get it away from him, and it's a really good match. So, if you've never seen it, go watch it somehow. I don't care. If you've got the WWE Network, check it out on that. If you've got, well, I'll just say, watch it however you can. I really don't care how you can. If you've got the DVD, watch it again. Buy it, watch that match. If you have to watch it that way, watch it that way. If you've got the network, watch it on the network. If you want to watch it in other ways, I'm not going to say whether you should or not. Let's see. Fucking hell. Matt Hardy versus JBL. I forget if there even was a fucking story behind that. But JBL wins, and that's all that I really care about. And Jillian Hall, I hope this was after she lost that stupid fucking thing they made her have in her face. And granted, she was pretty bland back then, and she was pretty bland after a while, but the irony is she was actually good at wrestling. They just didn't let her show it. She did a 450 once on Raw. Once in her entire run. And apparently she could do it. I mean, I get why she didn't do it after she joined WWE, because she had implants, so... But it is interesting to know that she could apparently do a 450 splash. I'm pretty sure she's the only woman I've ever heard of doing that isn't Asian. So, there's that. Let's see. Only match left. Undertaker versus Randy Orton, a Hell in a Cell match in one of the blandest Hell in a Cell matches ever. And I watched this pay-per-view live. I know that I watched that pay-per-view live. And back then, did I like it? Yes. Now, do I like it? Let's just say it's a regret that I have it in my DVD collection, aside from like maybe one or two matches. Good fucking lord. Honestly, all of those matches, all those pay-per-views, if you have the WWE Network, watch parts of the pay-per-views. Skip them. Skip bits. Don't watch the whole fucking things. Unless you're like really amped up on nostalgia or something, don't. Because in retrospect, they're not great pay-per-views. Are they terrible? Not necessarily, but at the same time, they're not great. So, yeah, like, Armageddon really has been a shaky pay-per-view to begin with, and now they've got TLC. For the love of God, WWE, go back to using the name Armageddon. Have the TLC gimmick in place still. I don't give a fuck. Just call it Armageddon. Stop calling the pay-per-view what the gimmick match is. It's stupid. It only works for the Royal Rumble. That's the only time you get away with that. And if people are like, oh, then what are they going to call Elimination Chamber? No Way Out. That's what the pay-per-view replaced, and that's where the gimmick started. As far as making it a gimmick pay-per-view, the gimmick pay-per-view aspect started at No Way Out. So, there's that. And they could really just label all of them actual name, and then give it a decent actual fucking name. It's almost like they're eventually going to change Night of Champions to title matches. Because Night of Champions is not a bad name, it's generic as fuck, but then again, every WWE pay-per-view name ever has technically been generic, so... yeah, that's really all I've got. If there's anything you would like to see me ramble on about, hopefully I can do it with other people, because, as you may have noticed, and I've brought up, which is probably a bad thing to do so, I'm not really all that interesting talking about stuff on my own. I hope to have people on this as co-hosts, so hopefully I can work it out to where we can do that. But yeah, I think that will honestly do for now. I really hope they bring the name Armageddon back for TLC because it's such a perfect name. It's like it's the last pay-per-view of the year, so Armageddon. It's the end of the year. Ta-da! But it's not like that. I mean, they wouldn't magically improve the pay-per-views or anything. Reviewing, talking about those pay-per-views has pretty much summed that up. So. Right. Next time I'll probably try to actually watch the pay-per-views before I talk about them. But, there's that. So, Christ. That'll do. I will see you guys next time, hopefully. If anyone ends up watching this. This is Thomas Fireheart signing out.